Yeah, you can argue that Groot would be a really good one, but that also depends on the map where they're playing at. Because Groot, they are ultimately no shield vanguards, but they are full-on brawlers, frontline brawlers. So in
True.
tight spaces, they deal a lot of damage, a lot of havoc. Whereas the shield vanguards, they're more of like utility characters where they can use the shield to defend against certain bursts, just to absorb a certain projectiles. So it's played very differently. But if it's a full-on metal, full-on brawler, like the Thing, Groot up against shield characters like Strange, Magneto, Groot and Thing will destroy any shield characters in front. So it really depends on how they play it, but ultimately I think it's just a very common rule, common practice, just to have shield characters like Magneto,
Yep.
simply because of the Meteor M. It's just so strong, countering a lot of projectiles.
Yeah, and plus the Meteor M, you're able to, like, if you can get basic dunks onto powerful strategist alts such as the Soul Resurgence, such as the Fate of Both Worlds, or even if you're lucky, a well-timed against Fate of Both Worlds, Eternal Bond. That's also a huge one.
Bond, yeah.
But I also want to be able to talk about what Dopamine is doing here, right? They're making sure that Onse will be able to hop onto that Doctor Strange. Great adjustments. And okay, wait, two things are huge. Number one, Dopamine banned out Psylocke. That CE is super good on the Psylocke. That's a targeted ban against CE. Gen.G banned out Human Torch. That's a targeted ban against Rii. We've seen Rii do disgusting things with with Johnny in the Sky. And so I truly believe that these teams are doing their research and making sure that we can get the right bans against the right players.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. I think it's actually Gen.G that bans out the Psylocke of the opponents, so Dopamine won't be able to use a Psylocke instead. I think they will still be able to use the Psylocke on the side of Gen.G, but nonetheless, it is still a very viable ban coming into this game. Gen.G versus Dopamine. Who will come on top? Who will be crowned the GOAT? The Ram. But we'll just have to stick around and find out.
Yo, the internet's a cruel place, Nell. The internet is such a cruel place. They're like, it's not a goat. Nah, calm down. Use your imagination. Your imagination.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a fancy goat.
Which is exactly what these teams will have to do, right? They've got some comfort picks that are banned out from this perspective, and so now we'll have to see how both teams adapt and survive as the portals look like at least come out from the side of Dopamine to take this early fight against Gen.G. Just walking onto the side is going to lead the charge with everyone else, but it's going to be once again Brownie high in the sky, and he immediately shut down one person disadvantage so early on in the game.
Beautiful. They sniped out. They knew exactly who to target first, and the portal just to scout out where the positioning of the opponents are at, taking out Brownie first blood. But so far the point is being unlocked by Dopamine, but someone's already standing on top of the point just to deter it even further. XZ trying to deal damage from the high grounds. Honestly, Gen.G is at a better position than Dopamine, and Ray is gonna go down in response to XZ. Not to mention Snake on the Ultron has been absolutely devastating, dealing a lot of damage. Brownie coming in, XZ taking out Welsh Corgi, and now it seems like Gen.G is coming online, and soon at the back lines as well. It's like, you think you have trouble at the sky? You have to deal with me at the back lines, and there you have it. Gen.G unlocking the point.
Yeah, I think it was C who, once they fought for the high ground, just set up a turret up top and, rain bullets down on the rest of Dopamine. There's some cover, but there's not enough, especially when you have Zune just on that backline disrupting everything. So well played from the start, Gen.G. Great adaptation. All things considered, that Brownie was taken out so early on in the match, only allowing Dopamine 16% and from that perspective, but Gen.G is already up top. So once again, that strategy is coming out, right? Dopamine is taking the high ground, wanting to hold on to the space, letting maybe some sort of height advantage from that perspective. Z forced off the turret, will have to jump out of that, but Felix coming in with the Eternal Bond to sweep onto the side, and Gen.G are conceding quickly, but not quietly, as now the fair both goes, and the final judgment coming out strong, just shutting everything out. That's gonna be the invisible boundary as well, sustaining, but CE caught out with their pants down, will be immediately shut down from their Eye of Agamotto, caught out, I think a single player, Totori. And now the shields to be had, but Rii will shut down Brownie to say the least. Gen.G are cleaning shop after this brawl.
Yeah, Dopamine is actually fighting back so hard right now, and it seems like they are going to be able to take back the point and going to be able to stop it at 71%. And this is Dopamine saying, "Hey, you think we're just getting started here? We're just getting warmed up," and they are starting to show why they are a very, very formidable opponent as well. There's still a lot of work cut out for them. It's only at 30%, and rest assured, we have seen this before. Gen.G is also a master of adaptation, adapting to the strategies. And now XZ catching on, say off guard.
That's not good, right? You don't want your Strange out of action. And with the Sonic Seduction now, no shields available. Roko also taken out, but a fire back from the side of Welsh and Rii will take down Fun and Dotori. So it leaves things in an even Stevens at the moment, but still percentage climbing for the side of Dopamine. Shields coming out from the Emma Frost. The fight of the duelist. Rii will find the advantage onto Z as well as Brownie. Roko doing wonders onto this. Dopamine finding their momentum and wanting to hunt more. Roko taking a forward stance against the Korean team.
Yeah, XZ is very weak against a Psylocke, right? Especially if he plays Punisher, it's very weak because the Psylocke can just dash against you, repositions herself, and you lose sight, and she can just take you out with the left-right click and left-click combo. Which is why now you see XZ changing to Hela. And now moving in, the backlines. Onsei trying to just peek a little bit. XZ with the Hela. Hopefully that will be the timing that they need. Overtime will be triggered by Zune. Jumping in, and now taking out the Hela of Rocco. And that's going to be a 5v6 formation. Zune just knowing what to do in that situation. XZ as well, clicking the head of Rei and keeping the hopes of Gen.G alive.
They have to stay on point effectively. They almost gave it away back to the side of Dopamine, but now, you know, it's going their way with a slam down coming out from against Corgi, and suddenly the feed lights up blue. It's gonna be Gen.G retaking his sight. It started off with Zune, you know, being the smart one. They knew that Dopamine had pushed up so far towards their spawn. Zune had actually started to back cap and draw attention away from the front lines. And that kind of split up and divided Dopamine just enough for them to be able to get their picks, Gen.G that is, and get the site under control. Now is the final chance for the side of Dopamine. They have Eye of Agamotto plus the Dance of the Butterflies that they can pop off. Roko maybe a few away from the Hide in the Sky as well. Yep, it's going to be the Goddess of Death fighting Roko. That's out of action so fast. Gen.G already started to have the advantage.
XZ is just crazy, but now Brownie coming with the Supernova, just taking out Soulmin, and now just dealing more damage. He's like, get off the point. You are not gonna stand here longer, and that's it. They're gonna take out 4 on the side of Dopamine, and that's it. After a 99% clash overtime, Gen.G's gonna come on top in this first one.
Oh, that was honestly very close from their perspective, and the way the minute by minute shot calling came up from these teams to be able to like flank on flank, get the high ground, retake those high grounds. And honestly, it was a close game, and they were really trying to do their best to adapt to the play styles of each other.
Yeah, a lot of these players are from the top 2 factions, right, in the previous season, MRC, MRIs, and which is why you can explain they both know the importance of angles, of the angles, taking position, and just splitting the attention of the opponents. Whoever deals the most destruction, the most chaos at the back lines and from the skies, that's the team that's going to come on top. And fortunately for Gen.G, after XZ moves on to Hela instead of the Punisher, they're seeing more success. They got that success.
They are. They are indeed. You know, like so much airtime superiority that they're finding. And maybe, you know, ZE now hopping onto the Hela might find a bit more success there. But I also want to give credit to Zune, right? Just being an absolute nuisance. That's the job. Ooh! Of a Captain America. Phoenix almost went down. Now the teleport coming out just to be able to sustain out Brownie. What an interesting portal from that perspective. I feel like Gen.G are kind of scattered at the moment. And Rocco's trying to put it on Zune, which will be dealt with swiftly and securely. Dopamine on their way to secure this first point.
That's the danger, right? Because the moment you know that there's a Vanguard that constantly wants to dive your backline, you need to have the duelist guard your backline. And that's exactly what Rocco did. Takes out Zune, making sure that Zune comes in, but never gets to leave the area alive. And that's it. There's going to be a 5v6 situation. 3 ultimates on the side of Dopamine. Staying strong. And now the Goddess of Death just trying to keep alive with the bonus health as well. And trying to deal damage. But it's almost instantly going to be taken out. Meteor not hitting anyone. How is no one dead just yet?
That's insane. I mean, I think so much sustain from the strategist. Now the backline hunt on to Fun. The dash in will deal with the Magneto. And now they're hungry for more Zune on. Tucktail will have to get out of there as quickly as possible. And the disgusting work onto Snake as well. I want to say that the team up between, you know, Emma Frost plus the Psylocke, just the doubles, making Re just a bit more annoying to have to deal with. The stagger is so strong at the moment. Gen.G are letting this percentage slip away. I think Zune's not going to be able to survive that either.
Wow, and a melee attack from Rocco to Zune. Like, stop jumping around. I know exactly what I have to do. I'm just gonna swipe you with the melee. Rocco just knowing exactly where to take point, knowing exactly where to wait in ambush. But right now, Dopamine is in a very strong position to take this second round. Multitude is already at 75%.
Yeah, Gen.G have like 1, max 2, but I don't know with this Rage of Ultron coming out. Oh, it absolutely destroys Onse coming out from the Eye of Agamotto. This might be the chance that Gen.G need. On the other side, Radiant with the dance of the butterflies will be able to find one at least. Fun dropping as well, keeping things very interesting. It is the invisible boundary on the side, just denying any sort of sight and vision from the side of Gen.G, but they finally make this way with Zoom leading the charge as Captain America trying to make some space in this backline. Won't be able to find a strategist at the least. A second one to boot, not just quite yet, as Brownie is raining so much fire from the top side. Fate of both worlds pop by the side of Gen.G to sustain everybody and their teammates, but Dopamine is hanging there in the line.
Hanging there in the line indeed, but with 1 member less, make that 2 members less. How are they going to be able to sustain? Wash Corgi able to take out Dotori, but in response, almost all of the teams have been team wiped, and Gen.G looks to come back at the 99% mark. This is absolutely bonkers right here, Multitudes. My goodness. 99%
at the 11th hour. At the 11th hour, Gen.G managed to pull through with some very well-timed ultimates. And Brownie still has their supernova as well. So this might mean this next fight might still be a bit of a brawl. But Dopamine have ideas about wrapping to the backside, hoping to catch these players off guard. See, he's on the top side. That might be their demise. Though that's exactly what I was talking about. Rocco picked off immediately from some well-timed headshots.
Yeah, exactly. The right position with the right angles, you know, just 1-2 clicks to the head, and that's it. You're gone. You're done. And now it's going to be a 5v6. Slowly but surely, Gen.G is holding on to the point. XZ clicking heads left and right. Clicking heads. And Zune at the backlines as well. And XZ, look at that headshot over and over again, Multi. XZ is a monster on Hela.
Absolutely monster, right? Like you move from a Punisher onto this, it's beyond what you can think. Now they think, okay, look at the moves from the side of Gen.G. They maybe suspect it might be a portal in, but Dopamine is just taking the long way around through this mid space onto this CE.
But he knows.
We'll hear everybody coming. We'll have to back away. While the rest of these folks fall back onto the back of the site. 73%. Dopamine is waiting for the perfect time to come in.
Yeah, they're actually functioning as a sentry. Everyone just guarding a few points. Dance on the butterfly, taking out Dotori at the back lines. That's exactly what you need to do. But Fun has already taken out Rocco. And right now, Rei taking the health pack, trying to come back in. And now Felix with the Eternal Bonds, trying to heal. But now with the Meteor M, that's going to be blocked by the Doctor Strange. Beautiful, beautiful shield helping to keep the team alive. And right now, Zune will be the only one left in the battlegrounds, trying to just sustain a little bit. Dotori at the background just trying to hit, and Dotori, the silent killer, onto Ray, and also to Welsh Corgi. A double strike by Dotori, and Gen.G is eliminating Dopamine one by one, and the shield stops the eye of Agamotto. No one's gonna be crowd control. Not today, sir. Fun with the melee is gonna take out Onse, taking out Felix. Everyone's down. Gen.G 100% from the brink of 99% multi. Insane game.
I have goosebumps. No, I have goosebumps from the way these two teams played. Dopamine had the right idea. They were waiting for the perfect time. They were waiting for Rii on the Psylocke to wrap around the backside with their own dance of the butterflies and catch a strategist off guard, which they absolutely did. But ultimately, it was just so much sustain and so much coordination. And right at the tail end, you called it right, Dotori with some beautifully timed shift clicks from your in-house Luna to be able to sustain.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. There's not much healing actually coming out from the side of Gen.G, but somehow they were able to power themselves through Raduro experience on this previous to the map release. So all their scrims and their strats from previously during their kind of MRC season 1, it's not applicable here. It almost evens the playing field for them.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the first times that I see it as well, especially in the competitive scene, right? Get to cast this map as well. So Araco is definitely a map where super exciting, like what Multitudes has pointed out, a lot of different options available to explore. But right now, I'm just looking at the ban picks face. Captain America, respect ban. That's how you do it. Respect ban the Captain America.
I like it. You know, Zune now having to figure out what they want to do. They chose to lock in the Emma Frost, you know, respectable choice to be honest, but now Captain America out of the hands of Zune. And the fight back is to deprive Rii or the side of Rocco, perhaps a Punisher, that has quite a bit of high ground advantage in phase 1, phase 2, and even phase 3, right? With the grapple being able to quickly relocate themselves. That's additional kind of movement tech on top of the teleports that this map provides.
They probably need to ban Psylocke now. On the side of because they have access to Emma Frost. That's going to be dangerous. And since they decide to go with the Emma Frost, it's very understandable that Zune will instead play the stable frontliner, Emma Frost, and then let Fun play Venom. That will still cause a lot of distraction. That is still a very doable strategy. So right now, the last save for Team Dopamine, they gotta know that even if Captain America's gone, they can still resort to something like a Venom that dives their backlines as well. And Venom is way tankier, has the shield, and he can easily swing away as soon as he dives that in.
It's true. I would say that Venom generally has a little less sustain and more of an AoE effect from that perspective, with those tendrils kind of holding things in place, and really requires the rest of the team to follow up in terms of like being able to have value for those Venom dives. But okay, what's the final? Okay, the ban. Yeah, the ban coming out from Gen.G is going to be the Adam Warlock because Dopamine had locked in the Mantis. So, you know, no Guardians of the Galaxy team up from that perspective. But you know, I'm not even going to try and look at the rosters that they're picking. I'm still focused on the picks and bans because anything can go at the moment. I like the adaptation. I like the precision counter ban of Captain America. You see so much value coming from Zune. You want to be able to deprive them on that. And this honestly is a map that could have happened as well. You know, there's a lot of ins, there's a lot of outs, and with Captain America being able to move through teleports, that's just one thing that you don't have to worry out of the way. I wouldn't be surprised if we take the Flyers a lot.
Yeah, Flyers is definitely a very, very disruptive force on the air. But we're gonna have to find out whether Dopamine will be able to come back in this game number 2 against Gen.G, because it's already 1-0 in favor of Gen.G. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's find out.
Let's crack on into Araco. Will we get a map 3? Only Dopamine will be able to tell us here. You know, I don't know much about the lore of this map. I haven't been reading about that a little too much, but okay. Now the meta or the compositions have kind of been finalized. Fun on. That's Emma Frost. Zune being an annoying Hulk might be an issue, but the teleport comes out pretty early from the side of Dopamine.
Oh my god.
Trying to see what that might look like as a Snake just dancing around this high ground at the moment, being able to hold back. Looks like what they've Dopamine have done is maybe take to the high ground at the moment and force Gen.G away with some well-placed portals, not even letting Gen.G up on the high ground. That's 5-hit play right now.
Yo, Fun is gonna be taken out. Rocco just sending Fun off the ledge. That's just gonna be like a Spider-Man play, right? Just pulling people off the ledge. Excuse me.
Yeah, we've seen Rocco as well as Rii abuse ledges so much when they're on a Spider-Man. When they're Wolverine, the dash comes out and slice and dice. Okay. At least ZC is going to be able to dash out of there, but so much brawling is happening on this side. They really push past the second corner. The slam down comes out, forcing poor puny Bruce Banner out of action at the moment. And suddenly, we've cracked open 2 meters left. Rage of Ultron firing high in the sky, trying to provide some sustenance for the rest of the team. But is it enough though? They're gonna have to dance around this pillar. Z is trying to be a nuisance in the backline at the very least. Gonna have to shut down these Lokis. We'll bring out the right clone nonetheless. And so that's gonna be the advantage there.
That was very, very good. XZ once again proving why he's a master. He's a master on the Psylocke. But Ray just shutting down XZ at the same time. So right here, you can see why Mantis is very, very strong as well. Especially if he's clicking heads, taking out Brownie in the process. This strategist, he's... Oh my god, that's a triple elims from a strategist, from a Mantis.
Nasty. I mean, Mantis, the self-damage boost, the boost that you can give to both like a Rocco on the Wolverine, Felix on the Ultron is disgusting. It really has the soul resurgence for additional sustain. Dopamine really trying to hold on to this high ground here, and they're doing it very well. You know, Gen.G kind of can't really figure out a way in. This comes fun. Plus Zune with the thing to be able to make a bit more space and hopefully split up the guards here.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart decision to go with the thing because he knows he won't be able to get kidnapped. But on save, the Eye of Agamotto is not going to catch anyone. Eternal Bond is going to be used by Dottori, but wait a minute, everything's going to be used. The last stand by Wolverine is not going to catch anyone. Psionic Seduction by Welsh Corgi is going to try and silence and pull. Dottori is going to go down, and now trying to catch everyone else as well. Supernova going to be used, but Rage of Ultron by Felix catching Fun, catching Zune. XZ is going to go down. Dopamine is fighting back super hard against Gen.G Esports right here.
Gen.G fragmented. They're hunting down these last two players, caught away from the rest of the team. They're buying so much time, right? And the cart is not yet stopped. They're pushing all the way. Finally, at 6 centimeters goes Zune with the thing, but it's being focus fire like nobody business. Not enough sustain. You know, we saw, I think, Snake on the Ultron being caught off the backside, and so that's gonna be the second checkpoint given away to the side of Dopamine.
Yeah, this is exactly why Dopamine cannot ever be underestimated, right? You give them an inch, they are gonna take a mile, and that's exactly what's going on here. Snake's gonna finally go back to his roots. Before this, he's an absolute unit with the Loki. He's realized that Ultron's probably no good here anymore. They need a lot more sustain because they're wreaking havoc at the backlines. So right now, Snake with the Loki and Zune with the Venom. That's exactly what I was talking about from the very beginning of the game. Finally gonna resort to it. Let Fun do the front lines and let him play the Venom. Right here, Rocco trying to get rid of Zune.
Wow.
Oh my god, Zune could not react to it, could not fly out. It was cancelled off. And Wolverine continuing to wreak havoc at the battle lines. Rocco, insane plays. They are just halfway before they reach point number 3.
They are, right? Dopamine knows what's up, right? A little sneaky a distraction from the side of Brownie to convert the point, but regardless, there's so much pressure from the side of Dopamine to be able to keep that cart going, and that high ground has been pushed off into that backside here as a lot of actions happening. I think I heard a soul resurgence at the very least. It's gonna be Rocco fighting Snake. And Z is now in the heat of all the battles here, dashing out, left, right clicks, trying to find their mark. We'll find Felix. Strategist out of the way and could not find a second, unfortunately. but it's being an absolute nuisance as the cart continues to chug
my
along. Z
God.
is gonna
Oh my
fight as
God.
much as possible. We'll find Re-E, a sole survivor. That's so important for the side of Dopamine.
Oh my god, Feast of the Beast coming in, and that's gonna deal a lot of damage onto the opponents. Not gonna eliminate them just yet, but Brownie picking off the pieces with one elimination. Zoon gonna continue, Brownie with a double elimination, coming in strong. Are they gonna finally be able to defend this final point? Multitudes, they are still defending, and there's still 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, this is the first time that Gen.G has had control of the cart, so they'll have to put on one hell of a fight here in the defensive hold. Really taking a lot of high ground. You see Zoon waiting for when things will come in through, and that's the Supernova using it wisely to catch that choke point off guard and forcing a different plan from the side of Dopamine. Exactly what you want. The thing comes out, no, the Hulk comes out, trying to make some space. Onsen not being able to find much value, but it's going to be Sonic Seduction as well as the invisible boundary just to be able to sustain everyone. Dotori will be forced off back into spawn, and suddenly Fun looks like a terrorizing activity at the moment, shutting down their counterpart, forcing Dopamine back off these lines.
Oh my goodness, with 1 minute and 50 seconds in the clock timer, will they be able to defend? Zoon is just being very, very cautious. He knows this point is where he needs to be at. The moment the opponents come in, the teammates will communicate to him, and then he will dive strike in, dealing a inwards tilt of 45 degrees, just pulling everyone in. And Snake, this is such a good point to defend as well. Let's hope that XZ's Punisher turret setup will be able to hold them off a little bit more, but Ray coming in.
Oh my
trying to
gosh!
take out- He's gonna take out XZ! XZ's gone! Dotori's gone! Dopamine pushing in hard and strong. Oh my goodness! 4v6, make that a 3v6, make that a 2v6. Everyone! Gen.G's falling down one by one. And oh my goodness, Multitudes, Dopamine is gonna get that 3-point push.
And Rei we saw so much value from Rei in point number 2, but that third phase, the aggression that comes out from this Mantis, just being able to buff themselves with a bit of damage buff plus movement buff, take the Punisher on plus a Loki to boot. It was absolutely astounding to see. I feel like as a strategist made myself, I need to start taking notes as to when to take aggression to the skies here. Disgusting.
Exactly. And speaking about aggression, I apologize for my doggos. I probably did not realize. Yeah, I probably did not realize how loud I was going. But the doggos definitely felt the hype as well. So make some noise, because right now Dopamine is looking to bring this to a game number 3. If they can hold this off, if they can hold off Gen.G, we're gonna see a BO3.
Yeah, just they need to deprive them of that third checkpoint is all that's needed. Let's look at any adaptations. Brownie on that storm at the moment, wanting to take the skies. This is probably the best part for it, as well as phase 3. Rei still on that Mantis. Deadly Duelist hiding in plain sight as a strategist, if I can say so myself. And Rocco with hopefully some incredible steals. So not much major changes from that perspective, but both teams now opting for a Doctor Strange, maybe to tank a few more shots as we wake our way onto the cart here. A disgusting start from the side of ZE to shut down Onset. The turret quickly dispelled, but not before that Vanguard is dealt with. A slam dunk just able to deny Zoon a bit more space, but it's gonna be Zoon taken out by Felix, not before Fun takes out Welsh Corgi. The trades are true. This high ground advantage is so important, and Dopamine do not want to give it up. Just like they took it very quickly on their offensive half, they want to hold that on their defensive as well.
Yeah, X is going to be taken down by Emma, right? Welsh Corgi doing a good job at the front lines. The diamond form is definitely going to play a bit of factor here as well. The choke slam is definitely going to play a factor as well, especially when the ultimates come in, right? He can disable it. But right now, Zoon is going to play passive. He's going to be like, yeah, no more diving the back lines. They know how to handle me right now. So we're just going to go with the front line guards. Just going to play the normal composition, the standard, well-known composition. They're going to take out Onse. Fun is on guard duty in the front lines. Just making sure Rage of Ultron coming in by Felix. Let's see if we're able to take out anyone. But fortunately, the diamond shield is just too strong. The Wolverine, Rocco trying to kidnap someone, but unsuccessfully so. Omega Hurricane as well. A lot of ultimates being committed here, Multitude.
Yeah, now the Sonic Seduction up top just to be able to force people off this sidelines and hopefully give Gen.G a bit more pressure. But, you know, with that faded out, Ray's on the hunt once more. All eyes on this person as the counter from, I believe, a final judgment comes out from the side of Z, just hoping to get Roche Corgi off this top line.
Whoa.
And Z does find the mark, hunting for more. Won't find another, but the damage is done against Dopamine. They're gonna be able to find a bit more space, Gen.G that is, but not before Roko fires back the slice, the dice. The teleport comes out onto this high ground. Roko will find a triple, hunting for blood, smells it in the river, and they're looking to push back Gen.G.
That was a 4-man elimination by Rocco. The last stand going through the portal into the last stand into the 4 elimination. That was absolutely insane. And with 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock, Gen.G has yet to pass the first point. Dopamine fighting back so hard, multitudes.
They're so good at the moment. They are playing what they know they can, and they're also abusing the high ground. Look at Rocco waiting for the rest of these team to group up to hop into teleport. The Eye of Agumon comes out top of this. Slam dunk from Fun will deny it everything.
My goodness, fun with the chip slam. Onse is gonna go down 5v6 at the moment. They are still trying to push the high grounds. Taking the high grounds is already a very, very good choice going forward. But look at Rocco, the silent assassin, gonna kill that brownie. He's gonna commit a double suicide. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was absolutely bonkers. He's like, yeah, I'm taking you down with me. Yeah, Storm, I'm so sorry.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I'm so
It
sorry.
was.
Maybe couldn't quite understand the movements around it, but Gen.G finally have something a bit more in control. You see the Loki's perched up high, having to deal with so much space as well. So Felix trying to do their best to work that. Once again, all eyes on Ree. Gonna be able to use that Soul Resurgence to sustain everyone, and CE will be taking the top side. It's finding off Ree. The raid boss out of action, and finally it's gonna be once again Gen.G finding a bit more space.
You have to be very, very careful when you have a Wolverine on the vicinity. But XZ with the final judgment, reaping through the enemy lines, and Gen.G fighting back hard with 10 seconds left on the clock. They're gonna try and push past the first point. They are doing so hard to just push this first point. Dopamine standing in their way, but fortunately for Gen.G, they will finally be able to unlock it. And now this is the time where they swap. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're gonna swap a little bit back, but it's okay. Right now, second point in contention. Dopamine doing such a great job, making Gen.G's life so hard to deal with.
Yeah, really running the clock all the way down, right? Only 2 minutes to spare at the moment, and Zoom back on the thing, wanted to make a bit more space, wanted to maybe work that high ground. Richard of Ultron to be able to maybe force things back as Felix takes to the skies and be a nuisance to Gen.G.
Yeah, such a nuisance from the sky as well, right? But they are just gonna do it fair and slow. Rocco again with the last stand.
Wow.
How many times are you gonna let Rocco do that to you guys? That was a 4-5-man elimination. How many times? Multitudes. I'm losing my mind over this. Rocco did it twice. Not once, but twice against Gen.G.
I mean, with so many like hideout spots, you just are and teleport as well, right? Rocco abused that twice already. Was able to just get around the corner and slice and dice like a terrific sushi chef. And so once again, it is Gen.G trying to force Dopamine off this high ground. It's gonna be the Sonic Seduction coming out from the side of Fun, but the shield's too strong. Great counter from the side of Onsen. The battle of the Vanguards now. Omega Hurricane by the side of Brownie wanting to disrupt this back line. And honestly, the card hasn't really moved much because so many people have taken to the high ground at the moment.
Yeah, so many people taking the high ground, and not to mention, oh my god, Rocco trying to kidnap a little bit more, but has to be really careful, has bring no one. Brownie dealing more damage, Welsh Corgi down for the count, so Min as well. Rocco at less than half. He's finally gonna go down. The annoying Weapon X is finally gonna go down, and now Gen.G looking to push that second spot with less than 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, with Felix kind of like gonna stagger the team just slightly, it's gonna allow them a bit more space to push through, and overtime is likely gonna be triggered as Dopamine prepare themselves for a resurgence here. Solomon with the God of Mischief, hoping to come in with their own Soul Resurgence coming out.
Okay, Snake going down. That's the first casualty of the day. But Bagamoto crowd controlling the whole entire crowd. But in response, Gen.G is the one that's getting reverse wipe. Felix, Welsh Corgi, Ray, everyone is dealing so much damage. My dogs are getting excited for this as well. Team Wipe, Rocco, Weapon X just coming in online. This is absolutely bonkers. Oh my god, Dopamine putting a stop onto Gen.G Esports right here.
A great hold for the side of Dopamine against the top tier Korean team at the moment. And here we are showing off that, you know, even though you're coming from open qualifiers, with the right strats and the right skill, you can go the distance into here a map number 3.
Yeah, we're finally gonna see that map number 3 after all. This is the best of the best after all, right? Both these teams. And Felix, rightfully so, the Ultron. But honestly, personally, Multi, I felt like the Wolverine, Rocco, was absolutely insane. Look at that 18 final hits, and Gen.G unable to counter Rocco's Weapon X.
Yeah.
He was just flying left and right.
I felt like, you know, Zune wasn't a thing a few times, right? And maybe...
We'll just have
I don't know. It's a hypothetical question. It was a hypothetical question.
It is. Yeah, but the respect ban by Captain America, that's definitely very well deserved, because that was ultimately what took a chunk out of Gen.G's playbook, right? So I love the respect ban, the targeted ban, and maybe they should respond with the Wolverine as well, because Wolverine was just, Rocco was just going haywire on that Wolverine. So
yeah, might be the case. Now I'm thinking about this particular map, right, where like I felt like Wolverine's efficacy is gonna be diminished a little bit, just because the spaces are just a little bit more wide open, right? And so you can see the Feral Leap come in, you can see the Feral Leap come out, and allow for a bit more focused fire. So perhaps it's gonna be Gen.G hedging that Rocco's not gonna head on to the Wolverine, because it's just a little harder to pull off. Oh wait, I might eat my words here, Nello.
Oh yeah,
I might just eat my words.
Target ban. They have to, right? Because Rocco was just crazy. But it looks like they might finally just be like, yeah, it's okay. Let's just ban Luna first. Too strong not to be banned, right?
That's fair. But they did. But Gen.G did go ahead and ban out the Mantis, which was Rei's favorite. So that is fair. Out of the way. Psylocke is locked in for the side of Gen.G. So do expect to see ZZ on that as well.
Yeah, ZZ definitely has a choice. Definitely has a chance to play, because they did not ban Gen.G's Mantis. So maybe that would be the case. But it seems like they might be banning Ultron as well. I mean, Snake ultimately is a very, very strong Ultron.
Yep.
And at one point, I even said that it felt like Ultron was made just for Snake. So I like that they ban Ultron, just take out the flyer, the strategist flyer, and using it themselves if they need to. But seems like now they have, right now, right? They have the Guardians lineup available for them.
They do, and it's gonna be very different kind of style, Nello, that we're gonna be seeing here on this map number 3. What we saw in Araco, a lot of close quarters, a lot of teleports, a lot of flank potential. So that high ground was so important to behold. But now it's a bit more open space. Yes, high ground is important, but you can honestly take the fights a little bit further. And it would be interesting how, you know, you want to be able to run this. Double shields are very strong from this perspective, especially if you want to push the card along. And because there are so many long sight lines, it opens up a lot more possibilities of different plays.
Yeah, different plays, that's for sure. But one thing's for sure, flyers here are super insane. There are certain points where they can hide behind terrains, and Wolverine is also insane here, especially at the second point. After you unlock the first point, there's also the lineup between the first and second where he can just kidnap people from the side. But starting off the match, let's see. Gen.G versus Dopamine. Both are at 1 score each. Who will come out victorious between the two? Brownie is just, you know, he's just chilling. He's like, yeah, let's just take another route. The scenic route, so to speak.
The scenic route. Round the world pleasure right now. Gen.G looking at a pseudo dive kind of waiting for everyone to snatch a trap play as ZE takes the high ground, uses the clones coming up from the team up from Emma Frost as well. And Brownie's also being an absolute nuisance in the background together with your Psylocke. So this is splitting the attention of Dopamine just a little bit more.
Yeah, that's very smart. Just splitting the attention like what you mentioned, and not to mention just making them second guess. What is the plan of attack here? Where is the location of this annoying Johnny Storm? Where's the location of this annoying Psylocke? And right now, Fun at the front lines is just trying to push inch by inch, making sure that she doesn't overcommit with the heal sustains, coming in a little bit closer, more and more, and hopefully we'll see them push in a little bit soon right now. Because just look at this eagle view, right? It's basically two different angles, and it's like the selection. It's 3v3 at both sides.
Yeah, but Dopamine is still doing a fairly good job in holding things back, especially with Phoenix coming out with the Rage of Ultron. It's going to be Dotori starting off with the invisible boundary just to be able to sustain themselves on point and provide a sense of invisibility as Brownie slams onto the ground. The sustain comes up, but Welsh Corgi will eventually go down. That's a Supernova online. Just raging fires are on this site from the side of Rii. Eternal Bond just being able to keep the sustain from the strategist alive a little bit longer, but I don't know. Gen.G are crowding this area but not really able to take the site for their own.
Yeah, but they still have 2 minutes left. Oh my god, finding Dotori hiding. You are not gonna hide from me. That's what he's saying going on. But now Feast of the Abyss, coupled. Oh my goodness, will they be able to contest? And now the grapple into the choke slam into the fight. Coming in, Psionic Seduction of her own. Welsh Corgi gonna be using it, but the dance on the butterfly gonna eliminate Solmin, gonna eliminate Ansei, and now Dopamine. Oh my goodness, they're also responding. Both sides with casualties, multitudes.
Both sides with casualties indeed. Rei back on the Human Torch like they always want to do, doing absolute damage. We'll take out Fun. The stagger is coming true. It's gonna be Snake just left on their lonesome, and once again only able to get that 1/3 checkpoint from Gen.G, and the times are running out. You know, I see Solmin on now on the Solmin on the Venom. We've got a little teleport perhaps coming out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on as Brownie will spawn. The rest of this will have to burn out as fast as possible. Looks like Dopamine want to be able to take the high ground ASAP.
Yeah, take the high ground indeed, and just in order to make sure that they have the best possible angles, right? Oh, Zune disrupting the backlines, very well done. He's gonna take out Rocco on the Invisible Woman. So bye goes Rocco. That's gonna be 5v6. Only one strategist left. Rei dealing damage at the back as well, just dealing damage onto XZ as well. This is just absolutely bonkers. My goodness, Supernova gonna be executed. The Eye of Agamotto helping to set up the stage, but the casualty will be limited. Brownie already has Goddess of Death, but the clicking of heads, double elimination by Brownie. Snake also eliminating Ansei. This will be a point unlocked.
Yeah, and both strategists now wanting to make sure they don't stagger too much, run tail tucked into the distance here as Dopamine regroup for a bit of a resurgence. But once again, Gen.G have ideas, right? Brownie now on the Hela with the Goddess of Death, no less. And if you have Sizu on the Psylocke plus Zune on the Venom, that could be a combo wombo to be had. But that's gonna be Supernova coming out from the side of Rii, coming out really quickly to disrupt that back line, but Zune's trying to make sure that distractions are coming in strong.
Yeah, distraction coming in strong, just creating chaos at the back line, but he has to be really careful though, because right now if he keeps doing that, here's a downside. They have to deal with it with limited members on the front line. Fun, the grapple, the choke slam, gonna take down the opponent's Emma Frost. He's like, goodbye. Eternal Bond's gonna be used. A Rage of Ultron's gonna be used. Everything's gonna be thrown around. Invisible Boundary as well. Both sides with the healings, everything being used. Ansei trying to hold on, but Emma Frost, Dance of the Butterfly, deleting the battlefield, deleting everyone. Oh my goodness, it's a surprise. It's a wonder how only one casualty exists. Solmin gonna take out Zune at the very end as well.
And Gen.G once again having to figure out how to push this through. Dopamine's defenses, I mean, in that previous map we saw as well, have been so good. They know how to abuse this. They've already basically done some like terrain adjustments, having to have all these sightlines, allowing the strategists to provide support to 2 flyers in the sky, and free range of both Ri as well as Felix onto the Gen.G team.
Yeah, they're just so good at rotating, right? Oh my god. Don't discount Brownie. Brownie is still around. This guy is an absolute monster as well, especially on the Hela. And look at that. Everyone at low health. It's a wonder that they still survive. But the points are still slowly pushing, but surely, multitudes with only less than 40 seconds on the clock. They gotta make there's still a little bit of way to go before they reach the second checkpoint.
Yeah, before they reach the second one, GC is trying to make a nuisance together with Zune on that backline. It's actually forcing a lot of players from Dopamine off this side. And Z's dashing on top, 68%. Nowhere close to their Dance of the Butterflies just yet, as now Felix comes out with the Rage of Ultron to be able to force things back. But it's going to be fun, firing themselves, shutting that down. Agamotto slammed down by the set of fun. So much coming out through. Solomon with the Eternal Bond, as well as the Silent Seduction response from the side of Gen.G to be able to counter, but the shields are up from Onsen, denying all sorts of value.
My goodness, MVP fun right there. But now XZ from the backlines trying to use Dazzle Butterfly. Gonna eliminate Solmin. Rocco goes down. Felix goes down. Triple elimination. Fun's gonna clear Onsei as well. And Brownie onto Ren Yi. That's gonna be a second point unlock. XZ already quickly moving into position. Knows that she needs to cut off any strays that might appear. Even Zune's already in position. They're like, yeah, we know, we won that team fight. We already unlocked the first point, but we are already setting up ourselves for the next point. Oh, portal gonna be set up by Onsei.
Oh,
Zune
that's
probably
smart.
listens to that.
Yeah, as we come back, Zune's attention is now back on this side as the portal releases a lot of damage, invisible boundary as well to be able to sustain all these players. Snake trying to do their best to do backline damage. The dance of the cloak and dagger. Snake finds the advantage onto Rocco. It's gonna be so much damage coming out from the side of Dopamine, but Gen.G somehow are able to find pick after pick after pick. Onse as well as Ri will find their demise. And the cart continues their way. A smart play from the side of Onse, but just couldn't sustain enough from the Dopamine side.
Yeah, this is just insane. Do you notice the number of times they keep swapping around, right?
Yes.
And now Brownie onto the Wolverine as well. So they know this point is super important. They need to catch someone off guard, and they know that the only way to do that is by using Wolverine. But now XZ from the backline flanking, she has a little bit of leeway to go before getting the Dance of the Butterfly. But Felix with the Rage of Ultron. Oh wait, I hear the last stand. That's Brownie coming in. No one's down just yet. But right now, Brownie's gonna take out Onsei. That's gonna be a 5v5. And now with the Dance of the Butterfly. Oh my goodness, Ray, take out Totori. Everyone is crumbling from the back lines. Gen.G is still standing strong, however. They know that this overtime is super important. They need to push the 5 line. But Ray is gonna take out Zune. And now, with so little people left, Rocco trying to stand hard onto as Adam Warlock, but ultimately they're gonna take down them one by one.
It's still this choke point that they need to push through. Dopamine is doing so much to work. It's gonna be all in the eyes of ZE as well as Fun to maybe put some distraction onto the backline. Felix and Welsh Corgi being absolutely dealt with, and suddenly it's the Karmic Revival and the Eye of Agamotto doing absolute work. What was once revived has been taken out. And suddenly the momentum shifts towards Gen.G. It's so much damage coming from inside of Zune, just taking to the bleachers, and suddenly what looked like inevitability came true for the side of Gen.G. They're able to push their third point through and through.
That's game sense right there. The presence of mind to know where they're going to do the Karmic Rebirth. My god, fun. MVP right there on the Emma Frost, and now on to Doctor Strange as well. So you gotta give the props, man. Gen.G fighting back really hard. We thought that Dopamine had a really good upper hand right there, but ultimately Gen.G broke through that crack in the wall.
Yeah, that final point is so hard to push through, but they were able to just down so many, and then also realizing that Adam Warlock was hiding. That was the win condition from them. I mean, looking at this, we've seen so many players take off on different elements. Now Ri maybe hopping on the Thing for that perspective. That's an interesting choice. Bit more of a dive-esque perspective. They're saying basically, you know, if you can play dive, I can play dive as well. It's gonna be a bit of a brawl, a bit of a chaotic mess. But I think these players, they thrive in it, right? They thrive in these 1v1s, these 2v2s, to be able to hopefully get themselves an advantage.
Yeah, simply because they are gifted DPSers after all, right? They come from DPS backgrounds, right? And coming here as the duelist, ultimately it is still a shooter's game. You have
Yes.
different roles, but ultimately accuracy, tracking, it still matters a lot. And the one that deals the most damage onto the head, that's the one that's going to help win the battle right here. So they definitely don't shy away from 1v1s and 2v2s, but XZ at this moment, they're doing a great job simply because Rocco, I do not know why they put Rocco onto the strategist role last half, because he had no final kills at all.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Dopamine actually opting for some interesting trap plays to deny vision from the upper side of Gen.G as ZE is going to take to the dance here, trying to figure out some sort of value. Zune hopping onto the high ground, trying to force this Namor off, and that's going to be Rocco instantly taken out as well. And suddenly the brawl from Zune is feeling the pressure onto the side of Dopamine. They're finding all these picks. Rei countered as well. Gen.G finding their marks, and suddenly Dopamine are looking not so happy.
Yeah, it's about time we saw the Namor, right? Namor and Hulk tandem, the Gamma Squids, that's definitely played a huge factor into defending here as well. So right now, it's a very good area for Gen.G to defend. They still have a healthy amount of time on the side of Dopamine. There's still 2 minutes and 40 seconds. But honestly, with how the way this is going, they gotta build up their ultimates first before they can actually push the agenda.
Yeah, and the adjustments from Dopamine, right? Well, now wanting to take from the skies, a bit more like long distance poke battle, triple. 3 people in the sky, actually, right? They're trying to nullify Zune's existence from this perspective, right? Once on the Captain America, now on the Hulk, but the Hulk can still jump. He leaps and bounds. It's just a matter of whether they can hit those targets or not.
Yeah, whether he can or not. And now with the Dance of the Butterfly trying to get rid of the backlines, he's gonna get out. Soulman's gonna be the victim, and Onse is gonna fall to Fan. Ray is gonna take out Dotori, but Brownie following up with Felix on the Ultron. Zune, what a monster as well, taking out Welsh Corgi, Snake taking out Ray, and they are gonna be able to do a successful defense again with 3 ultimates in multitude.
Huge from that perspective, right? And so far, Dopamine still wanting to go with this. They already have the plasma cannon online on Rocco, and if they can find some sneaky beaky way to get into some sneaky beaky angle, that might be their way into this side. They've only gotten 1/3 in, but really just fire from the top down. This is the thing about Gen.G Esports. No double shoots, just a single one to hold the battle at the moment. It's going to be on Zune to make all this pressure, and ZE in the backlines as well. Tides are turned. They want to be able to have this. It's going to be the silent seduction as Dopamine flood the site. Brownie's trying to do their best and find Soulman, Felix as well. Strategists out of action. Suddenly Dopamine are finding themselves with no heals.
Yeah, what happens when you let someone play a character that has no ammo reloads? This is what happens. Look at Brownie, just clicking heads, just trying to chase away all the actions. Namor is so strong in terms that he does not even need ammunition. It's just unlimited, no ammunition reload. So this is going to be a huge factor with the Squids as well. And with less than 40 seconds on the clock left, how can Dopamine counter? It's supposed to be 6v6, but with the addition of the Squids, that's going to be 9v6. So
yeah. That's hard.
God.
That's hard as the Supernova comes out just to be able to flood the side a little bit and, you know, make some space for Ri to slam dunk and find themselves. Brownie, Namor out of action. Zune's the next target as Zune, the Hulk, trying to make some matters work. Gets choke slammed, unfortunately. Z's now up top. Gonna find Felix. Excellent dash up, and the clicks matter when it matters the most. And Gen.G are still on the side, denying this 3rd point away from Dopamine as Zune trying to make things worse. For the side of Dopamine, we'll find Rocco, but the cocoon will come out.
Oh my god. The cocoon will come out, but how can they stand here? I mean, Onse still has Eye of Agamotto left, but now the shield's gonna be up again. Eye of Agamotto coming in. Everyone's gonna be crowd control, but fortunately, everything has been used up. Dotori is gonna go down, and now Welsh Corgi, he's still standing tall. Ray taking out Snake. I think XZ taking out. Oh, wait a minute. XZ. How can we forget about the existence of XZ? Taking out everyone. Brownie's going to continue on. Rocco's going to change. Swap into Spider-Man.
What?
Probably trying to touch the point. But now, Welsh Corgi.
Wait! It might be possible with the backstab. Oh my gosh, the backstab from I believe it was Ray. No, yeah, Ray Yi came in just in a nick of time to deny. You know, the fun from, oh, that was disgusting from that perspective. So Dopamine are able to secure themselves at the last possible second. The point chugging along, Rocco back on that Adam Warlock. Whew.
Yeah, that was crazy, insane. And this is the point. This is a secondary point where it will be super important. Zune on the Hulk. And you know the thing about Hulk, right? You have to nail that exile super accurately. Yeah, you just gotta take them out of commission. One of them out of commission is gonna be 5v6. So super important to nail that exile.
I think the win con right now for Dopamine is abusing that the fact Gen.G only has a single shield, so they gotta be able to work that onto Soul
Nice!
Min. Beautifully done from the side of XZ. The Incredible Hulk does start raging around. In the chaos of it all, XZ is gonna try and find a pick, but what the backline in the last possible second as Dopamine want to be able to take the high ground. They're known to want to have vertical advantage, and this is no exception.
Yeah, exactly. Zune gonna just be leaping in, just trying to take out the Sky units and trying to exile as well. But now Supernova by Ray trying to deal damage onto the payload here. The convoy is still going on, but Brownie taking out Felix. That's gonna be a 5v6 at the point. Brownie, oh my god. Even Snake has taken out Onse on the cloak form. XZ as well. Fun just coming in, and with 1 minute on the clock, they are looking to end.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to end a team wipe here. Okay.
The staggers too, right? So strong coming up from Gen.G. They know their win con. They're just bleeding out time because time is not on Dopamine's side. If they want to trigger an overtime to give us basically a bit more entertainment, to be honest, but did they realize that Zune's behind them? I don't think so. I don't know. As Z's gonna be able to shut down Rocco instantly, popping the dance of the butterflies in the middle of a cocoon. Will not find anything. Avagamoto Onse will be able to trade out. Brownie will be shut down at the instance, as well as Welsh Corgi wanting to maybe hold on to a grab, but Fun is tuck-tailed, trying to hold things back. Great bubble against the side of Zune to be able to maybe regroup with the rest of Gen.G.
Oh my god, less than 10 seconds. Multitudes is so close, but now everyone almost has the ultimate ready. Rage of Ultron going to be employed. Soulmin still has the invisible boundary ready to use whenever needed. But Dotori as well. The moment he hears that, she's going to counter as well. So right now, Brownie trying to click heads. Felix going to go down. Oh my god. Brownie's gonna click. XZ's gonna take out Rocco. Goddess of Death online, trying to take out the people that are surrounding the payload. Brownie's gonna take down Ray. Solmin's gonna go down by Dotori, and they might be able to stop them at this track. Gen.G! What a play! Stopping Dopamine at its track at the first point, Multitudes.
Oh, that could not have gone anything more stressful for both teams. Honestly, Gen.G were tested. Their mettle was tried at every corner, at every turn. But it's ultimately their mettle and their strats and their coordination that will come on true to be able to hold back Dopamine from pushing even through the second checkpoint. It's gonna be so many kind of huge plays coming out from all these players, right? Look at these stats, to say the least. ZE 25 final hits to boot. No one else comes even close, right? If you're able to insert yourself in the back line and be an absolute nuisance, with Zune on the Hulk being an absolute nuisance.